Good day. My name is Chief Strongblood. I am St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son. I am the diaspora merchant. My people, it has been another beautiful day for our protest and I enjoyed every moment of my protest. Let me first remind you, the front of my sign says, I don't want the white man's money, the white man's woman, the white man's friendship, and or the white man's fame. And the reverse of my sign says, white man, why have you enslaved the African American, the Latinos, etc.? All in all, it was another beautiful day for protest, and I enjoyed every moment of my protest. There is nothing particularly interesting that I should bring to your attention as it relates to my protest. And as you know, when I have protested and when I have updated you as to what transpired while I protested, it is always my pleasure and my delight to bring to you something from the word of the Most High God. We are still in the book of Revelation, and we are still in Revelation chapter 13, and we have only reached to Revelation chapter 13, verse 3. And we have spent quite a significant amount of time in the book of Revelation. But there are so much things we need to unpack in Revelation chapter 13, especially in the initial stages, that it took quite a long time. But the time have been well spent. The information is undisputable and irrefutable. And there have been a lot of good feedback from our study of Revelation. As I said earlier, we are in Revelation chapter 13, verse 3. And in order for me to really give you an idea of what is happening in Revelation chapter 13, verse 3, we'll have to go back and deal with something we dealt with a little earlier. But we'll have to mention some information that I bring to your attention in a previous study. But we'll have to recap that information. As we can recall, Revelation chapter 13 dealt with a beast that came out of the sea. And we know that the beast coming out of the sea represents a new nation. And we have already concluded that that beast that came out of the sea represented the Caucasian nation. And we learned that that beast had 7 heads and 10 horns and 10 crowns upon the horns. And we also learned that from in Revelation chapter 12, the second wonder, which was in Revelation chapter 12 verse 2, when the dragon appeared, which we learn is the devil or Satan, he had 7 heads and 10 horns. But the only difference was the dragon had 7 crowns upon his head. Here we see in speaking about the beast, it is said here in Revelation chapter 13 verse 3, and I saw as one of the head was wounded unto death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. Revelation chapter 17 told us that the 7 heads on the beast represented 7 mountains, which were 7 kings. And we know that kings rules over nations. Therefore, we have to conclude here that the 7 horns on the beast is a double entendre, meaning it has 2 meanings. The 7 horns represents the 7 nations of the earth, which the beast sit upon. That means control over. It also represents the 7 Caucasian nation that was once a world power. And those 7 nations are Greece, Rome, Italy, Portugal, France, Spain, and England. At one stage of the world's history, one of these nations ruled the world as a world power. But remember, there were only 7 nations that were represented by the 7 horns. So when Hitler tried to make Germany into a world power, Hitler failed because Hitler and Germany was not mentioned in prophecy. They weren't mentioned in the revelation of the future where the nations of the world were concerned as it relates to being a superpower. So when we speak about the deadly wound of this, one of the heads were healed, we are not speaking about a nation, we are speaking about an attachment to that beast, which is one fraction of the Caucasian nation that became a superpower. And we are speaking about Rome. Rome was a religious political superpower. Rome had a government, a seat, and it also had an ambassadorial arm, which was the Roman Catholic Church. It was a church that looked out for Rome's interests overseas. Every nation that was conquered by Rome, Rome ensured that several churches was established in those nations. And those churches were the ambassadorial unit of Rome. They looked out for Rome's interests overseas. So when Italy conquered Rome, that represents the head becoming injured unto death. But it also said in the scriptures that the deadly wound was healed. What was the healing of the deadly wound that was inflicted upon Rome? What Italy did? Italy dedicated, Italy dedicated, I think it was 9 or 10 acres of land. And they give those lands and they create a city called Vatican City. And what they did with Vatican City? They hand it over to the Roman Catholic Church and they give Vatican City sovereignty. So therefore, the Vatican or Vatican City is a sovereign within a sovereign. The Pope is responsible for running the affairs of Vatican City. So the Vatican City is a sovereign within a sovereign. That is when the deadly wound of that head was healed. So here we see one of the head, which was once a world power, which is Rome, was reduced from a superpower or a world power to a state in Italy. But they took out the religious aspect of Rome and they make it into a sovereign. And this means that the head with the deadly wound that was healed actually came to pass and it was recorded in the history of man. So we can conclude here the only reason why German under Hitler leadership was unable to conquer the world as he set out to, it was because Germany was not mentioned in prophecy as being a world leader, a dominant figure in the world. And therefore, Hitler could not change the prophecy by accomplishing something that was not outlined in prophecy for him and his nation. Remember, like this video, share this video, leave a comment on this video, and like or subscribe to this page or channel wherever you're watching from. There are many more videos like this right here. So go down, peruse those videos and let me know what are your thoughts about those videos. Remember, my name is Chief Strongblood. I am St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son. I am the diaspora machismo.